Hello, world. Welcome to episode 145 of the Jimmy Canz Show. It is a classic retrospective Survivor Series 91, the Gravest Challenge. This event took place November 27th, 1991, WWF event, obviously, held in the Motor City, Detroit, Joe Louis Arena, 17,500 in attendance, which is 80% capacity, broadcast live on pay-per-view, later released on VHS, courtesy of Coliseum Video. Action called by Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heenan. This is the first Survivor Series to feature a world title match, as well as your traditional elimination tags. So let us get into this show. Our opening contest of the pay-per-view was a traditional Survivor Series elimination tag match, but boo, the teams don't have names this year. Anyway, team number one, team captain, Rowdy Roddy Piper, joined by Intercontinental Champion Bret the Hitman Hart, the British Bulldog, and Virgil, taking on the team captain by the recently signed Real World Champion, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, with Mr. Perfect in his corner. Once again, $1 Million Champion, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He defeated Virgil days earlier at the Survivor Series Showdown special. DiBiase managed by Sensational Sherry at this time. The Mountie had Jimmy Hart, obviously, in his corner, and the Warlord is now managed by one Harvey Whippleman. Bulldog was eliminated first by Flair. Warlord then eliminated by Piper, and then we have a total breakdown in the match with everybody else getting disqualified with the exception of Ric Flair. So your winner and sole survivor, the Nature Boy. Next up, the team captained by Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He is joined by the Dragon, the Texas Tornado, Jim the Evil Neidhart, taking on the team captained by Colonel Mustafa, joined by the Berserker, the Barbarian, and one big bully, Busick. Oh, nope, wait. Survivor Series strikes. As always, Dragon quit, as did Barbarian and Busick. And if memory serves, Neidhart was fired, I believe, for failing a drug test. So Duggan's team now consists of the once again babyface Sergeant Slaughter, and El Matador, and Mustafa's team now consists of Skinner and Hercules, replacing those. So this one ends up in a clean sweep for the babyface team in a very underwhelming match, considering that Duggan's team was all Hall of Famers. Even before the changes, it would have been an all Hall of Fame team, and after the changes, it was still an all Hall of Fame team, and it was just not a good match. So next up, we get the title match. The Immortal Hulk Hogan defends the WWF title in the Gravest Challenge against The Undertaker with Paul Bearer. A little under 13 minutes, screwball finish. Flair comes out, interferes. This leads to Hogan getting tombstoned onto a steel chair and Taker getting a 1, 2, 3 to become the new WWF champion. We will elaborate more on this later. Next up, another Survivor Series elimination match. Involves two tag teams, so I guess there really wasn't a captain, so to speak. One team consisting of the Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch, joined by the Rockers, Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, to face the team consisting of the Nasty Boys, Jerry Saggs, Brian Knobbs, and the Beverly Brothers, Blake and Bo. Luke was the first man out, followed by Butch, putting the heels up 4-2. Tension had been mounting between the Rockers in the weeks leading to this. Shawn eliminated Bo before he was eliminated by Knobbs, after Marty accidentally hit Shawn in the face with Saggs' legs when he was slamming him, allowing Knobbs to get the roll up on Shawn. This left Marty in a 3-on-1, which he could not overcome. So your winners ended up being the Nasty Boys and Blake Beverly, and this just helped further along the eventual breakup of the Rockers. Next up is our last match. It is a Survivor Series elimination match, and wow, did this one change from what was originally announced. So let me get into it. Sid was supposed to be joined by the Boss Man and the tag champions, Animal and Hawk, the Legion of Doom, against Jake the Snake Roberts, IRS, and the natural disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon. So, yep, you guessed it. Survivor Series strikes. Sid was out due to a bicep tear. They made a play like Savage would be reinstated and put in to substitute him, but then they pulled another swerve on us there, and instead they just turned this into they pulled Jake from the match and turned it into a 6-man elimination tag. Boss Man was the first one out, courtesy of IRS, after the briefcase shot behind the official's back. Hawk was then able to eliminate Typhoon, even things back up. Just 15 seconds later, Earthquake is counted out, and 5 minutes after that, IRS was eliminated. So, or excuse me, yeah, LOD stands tall. Yeah, there you have it. So that was the Survivor Series. It wasn't a good show. But honestly, like, this Survivor Series was pretty much just it was just like a pre-show to get to the Experimental Tuesday in Texas. And you're all gonna get a twofer on this one, but before I get into that, Hall of Famers involved in this one, like I said, Duggan's entire team, himself, Slaughter, Kerry Von Erich, and Tito, Hogan, Taker, Bearer, Flair, Bulldog, Sherry, Piper, Brett, Perfect, Sheiky Baby, Jimmy Hart, Fuji, Animal, Hawk, Luke, Butch, HBK, Boss Man, that's 23. You tack on Jake and Savage. I mean, they didn't wrestle, but they played in the story. Monsoon, Heenan, Okerlund, and Finkel, if we include them as well, it's 29 Hall of Famers on this show, and it was just bad, considering all the Hall of Fame involvement. But like I said, it was done to set up the next show, and it did accomplish that. All in all, rating 23/29 Hall of Famers is all involved, and we got this. But if I was rating it just on the show itself, it's pretty low. But like I said, I always factor in story, and it did what it was supposed to do in terms of story for us. So that gives us a little bump. So out of 10, I will give it a 4. Yeah, there you have it. And like I said, you're going to get a 2 for here. Because like I said, the show was really done to set up this Tuesday in Texas. It was on December 3rd, 1991, San Antonio, Texas, at the Freeman Coliseum. 8,000 in attendance. It's only about 64% capacity for the venue, but this was a Tuesday evening and not a weekend, so that might explain some of it. It was broadcast on pay-per-view, didn't get its own VHS, but the 5 matches from the actual pay-per-view aspect of the show were included on Coliseum Video's Super Tape 92. So, yeah, it was actually a bigger show in person than what was on pay-per-view. I believe there was like 11 or 12 matches at the live show, but only 5 aired on pay-per-view, and those are the 5 we are going to discuss. So our first pay-per-view contest, like I said, Super Tape. First contest, though, was Bret the Hitman Hart going 14 minutes to defend and retain his IC title against Skinner. He did so via a sharpshooter. And like I said, the live crowd saw 9 matches before this. So I said this was a really long show. So that's what, 9 and 5 on a pay-per-view. So a 14-match show. That's a big long show on a Tuesday night. Anyway, next up, Macho Man Randy Savage, reinstated, took on Jake the Snake Roberts. You weren't going to do this story with the snake bite, the push for reinstatement, and everything else, and then have Savage come back and lose. So obviously Randy wins. and is back on the active roster going forward. More of the who has a better power slam shtick here. I mean, how many different times are we going to see Warlord versus Bulldog? Happens yet again here. Doesn't really change anything now with Warlord being represented by Whippleman instead of Slick, and Bulldog gets the win here. Not much to see. So we opened the pay-per-view aspect with 3 babyface wins in a row. So this isn't a good sign here for the babyfaces in this 4th contest, who happen to be El Matador and Virgil, taking on Repo Man and $1 Million Champion, the $1 Million Man Teddy DiBiase, accompanied by Sensational Sherry. And like I said, no big shock. The heels get the W in this one. And then our main event. WWF title on the line, Hulk Hogan in a rematch against now champion Undertaker with Paul Bearer. Tunney demanded no interference, so naturally there was interference. This time it backfires. On Taker, Hulkster takes advantage of the situation, ends up getting a hold of the Undertaker's urn, throwing ash in the eyes, and recapturing the title. All that shenanigans, though, does lead to Tunney eventually vacating the title, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. In terms of Hall of Fame involvement, not quite as many as in the previous show, but still 11 Hall of Famers involved on the broadcast. Adding in voices, we get to about 15. So you see that there. Back-to-back bad shows, all in all, story-wise, did accomplish what it was supposed to do, gives it a bump, leads us to the 92 Rumble. So on a 10-belt scale, I will give this another 4. So back-to-back 4 pay-per-views. Next up in our retrospective will be another Clash. So where we are, I hope you're doing well. Take care of one another, and I'll see you all when I see you.